All right, so we're going to break 11.4 into two sets of short notes. So we're going to start with this, and then you guys are going to work for a little bit. You're going to do quizzes, and then there's going to be another short video, as opposed to having one video that I feel would be too long. So the way that we refer to the size of matrices is by the row and then an X and then the column. So it's like a 2 by 3 matrix, for example. There's 2 rows and 3 columns. So you got to remember which way rows go and which way columns go to get that straight. So there's a visual that's color coded for you. I can add and subtract matrices as long as their dimensions are the same. So in example 1, you can see that both of the matrices have 2 rows and 4 columns. So they are 2 by 4 matrices. And since they're both the same dimensions, I could add or subtract them. So they're both 2 by 4. And what I do, I just simply subtract the corresponding entries. So I'm not going to color code every single one, but I'm going to start with some of them. So I'm going to go 2 minus -3. So now be careful with your signs. We're subtracting -3, so that's going to be a plus, right? And then I'm going to go 4 minus 4 for the next entry, and I'll color code 1 or 2 more. 8 minus 0, and -3 minus 1, and so on and so forth. So 0 minus 6, 1 minus 8, 2 minus 2, 3 minus 0, and that is literally all that we're going to do. Now make sure when you're writing your matrices that you're using the brackets and not the determinant symbol that looks like the absolute value. Just to reiterate the difference that we learned in the last, was it the last section? I think it was the last section. All right, we can also multiply by a constant. So find 4 times A. So 4 times A is literally just going to be multiplying every entry times 4. So we probably didn't need to do examples of these, but better safe than sorry, right? Now multiplying matrices together, so like a matrix times a matrix instead of a constant times a matrix. This is a little bit more work. It's not difficult. Once you practice it, it's going to be easy. So first thing is we can only multiply matrices if their inner dimensions are the same. So the column from the first and the row from the second has to be the same in order to be able to multiply these together. And then the result is going to end up the row from the first by the column from the second. Okay, so let's just kind of practice with the notation here. This one has 2 rows and 3 columns, the first matrix, and we're multiplying. There's an invisible multiplication symbol, just like always when two things are kind of butted up against each other in that way. And then this one has 3 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So since these two numbers, let me change colors. Since these two numbers are the same, we can multiply those together, and the answer is going to be a 2 by 4 matrix. So 2 by 4, just like we saw above. So here's how we do matrix multiplication. You're going to need a lot of space horizontally for this. I'm actually a little bit worried that I'm not going to have enough space, but I'll make it work. Okay, you write, and I want you to write notes on this off to the side, okay? You write the first matrix, you repeated however many times there are columns in the second matrix. So the second matrix has 4 columns. So I'm going to write the first matrix 4 times. And I'm going to leave some space, and you'll see why. When I'm done writing these. So writing it 4 times. So again, the number of columns in the second matrix tells me how many times to write the first matrix. Pause me and write that down, please. Okay, now we take each row. Nope. Let me try that again. We take each column. So I'm going to take this first column here, 2, 4, 3, and I'm going to flip it so that it's, instead of being vertical, it's horizontal. And I'm going to change my color. I don't know why it's such a hard decision for me every time I have to change my color. So I'm going to go 2, 4, 3 horizontally instead of vertically. So I think I might try and color code these for you guys. So then I'm going to take the second column, 5, 8, 1, and I'm going to go 5, 8, 1. So there's that. And I just keep going with the different columns. So I'm going to take the third column. I'm going to go 1, 0. I didn't give myself a whole lot of space on this one. And then the last column, I'm going to go 4, 6, sorry, -1. I almost did +1. 4, 6, -1. So that's that. And then what I do with each of those, so every different highlighted line, I add in between those products. So it's important to keep them separate. That's why I have this big space in here and here, because I want to know where I'm going to stop the addition. So each time that I wrote the first matrix, that's what I'm adding together. Okay, so I'm going to put in, oops, I forgot a parenthesis there. I'm going to put in all these plus signs. Oh, that pink one is hard to see. That hurts my eyeballs. Does that hurt your eyeballs? Okay, and really with the ones that have a minus sign, I don't need a plus in there, but that's okay. All right, so let's just now do the arithmetic. So it's really just setting this up and then doing arithmetic. So I'm going to write it out. You probably don't need it to be written out, but I'm going to write it out for each of these. And now a really common mistake here is that last entry that I just wrote, 0 times 3. People want to write 3, and I don't know why. I do it too. Why we forget that 0 times anything is 0 when we're doing these. It's just our mind is like trying to wrap around a new concept, and we sometimes forget. So that's an awkward looking 3. Just gonna keep going with this. So just be careful with your arithmetic here, okay? And be careful with your signs and all of that fun stuff. So that's all of the multiplying, and then we're just going to do the addition and subtraction. So the answer is going to be that. Okay. So it's the setup is new, and then the rest is just simple simple arithmetic. Okay, so we're going to stop here for now. You're going to do a short bit of practice on this part of the homework. If you're super fast and you get into the types of problems that we haven't done yet involving inverses, find something else to do. I don't think that's going to happen though. And then you're going to do a quizzes on this material, and then we'll do another video with the rest of the section.